One time Ma, Anandamayi Ma, for those of you who might be listening and not know what I mean when I say Ma. One time Ma incarnated Chinnamasta. So Chinnamasta is one of the Mahavidyas, one of the 10 wisdom goddesses that are forms of Durga. And Chinnamasta is perhaps one of the most fierce of them, or if not the most fierce. And she's pictured with holding her own head in her hand. Her head is severed, and there is blood gushing from her neck up in a fountain, and then into her open mouth of her severed head, she's drinking her own blood. And a devotee asked Ma, why are you incarnating Chinnamasta? With this deity drinking her own blood. And Ma said, because this is a symbol of the total and absolute generosity of the world. That self is always giving the essence of life to self. This blood, right? That's constantly flowing. So there's a fierce aspect to Diwali, in the tradition of Anandamayi Ma, but there's also a fierceness that we have to embody if we are going to embody this generosity or abundance of life. And that fierceness is in not identifying with our small self. It's a very fierce thing to do. We have all kinds of karmas. Some of us say, oh, I'm nervous. Some of us say, oh, I'm angry. Some of us say, oh, I'm lethargic. Some of us say, oh, whatever. I am sick. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. And then we identify with that. That becomes actually part of how we present ourselves to other people. So not only do we have these attachments, but then we get attached to our attachments. So, we have some problem with our eating. We have some sort of disordered eating. We have these, I'm just thinking of things of people that I know, among my students. We have all kinds of things happening, and then we become identified with that. And that's the way that we relate to other people and how we announce ourselves to other people. We can't make these karmas go away in an instant, unfortunately, but we can catch ourselves in the act of identifying with them, of having that pleasure of identifying with how we are. And this is something that we can begin to do at a very early stage of sadhana. It's very, very important. Sometimes people have some complaint about me. And, a lot of times they're valid observations of how I am, right? But then having, carefully crafted their statement about their idea of something that's wrong with me and handed it to me, they're expecting me to have some huge reaction to it, right? And I would have, if you had approached me a while back. But now I'm not so identified with that stuff anymore. I know it's happening. I'm not enlightened. But I'm no longer feel that there's much at stake for me in claiming that. I'm just doing my sadhana. You all just do your sadhana. So we want to try to take that step to disidentify with the things that we think are our problems, or the things that we're fixing, or the things that we're working on. The way that we say we are, right? How we are. We want to stop trying to stop identifying with it so strongly. Do you understand what I'm saying? Maso, mezzo. How do you say that? Mezzo, mezzo. Yeah. There are many more Italian people here.
Our landlord.
Yeah, our landlord, I think. I'm not exactly sure. So, Kali, the essence of Kali is the absence of all attachment. The total absence of attachment. Even to the things we think are wrong with us. We're completely losing the story that we are a certain person with things wrong with us. We're doing our sadhana. We know that karmas exist. But we want to lose the story. We don't want to be crafting our self-explanation out of our karmas. If we can help it. So that's a fierce thing that you can do, is to begin to disidentify from how you think you are. Yeah, you might be doing those behaviors, but don't shop them around as your personality. Look at the way that you get pleasure out of shopping around your foibles and fixations. That's what I'm talking